I'm very glad you posted this review about Avatar, which you saw 1 hour ago. I saw it weeks ago when it first came out, and I've just been reluctant to express my ideas about it, but you've prompted me to try to get my thoughts together. I saw it in 3D IMAX downtown at the big theater, $17. It was preceded by 2 what felt like full-length films extolling the glories of war and a territorial grabbing. One was about U.S. Marshals. They were commercials, really, about getting people to enlist. The other was the National Guard, and they were full-scale films, war films. I was so revolted by those that I was worn out by the time the film finally started. They kept talking about selfless service, personal courage. It was no accident that those were shown full scale, not 3D, not IMAX, but they were in that space to go with the film Avatar. It bore a lot of thinking about, I think. I think the theater felt they had to cushion all the horror of those first 2 films, the National Guard and the U.S. Marshals recruitment film. So they put in something family-wise to sort of soften everything between them and Avatar. And what was it? It was quite charming. It was a family out having fun. But they were fighting. There was a snowball fight, and it was quite intensive. We just can't let it go, it seems. One reason I didn't feel like coming out with my ideas about the film was everybody else was so enthusiastic about it and the effects. I thought, well, I just must be getting old. It must be because I saw 3D 40 years ago with those funny glasses, and I remember leaping when something burst out of the screen. It wasn't that I wanted those kinds of things. I didn't want the extravagant, but for me, the 3D, it didn't do it for me. And I took my glasses off quite frequently because I thought, like you, I saw better without the glasses because of the way it was editorialized to make you look at one thing and almost discourage you from looking at another part of the screen. So I didn't think the 3D was anything all that spectacular. I guess my favorite spots were the spots where you were hovering between these giant land masses which were suspended in midair, and the sense of dimension it gave you about all of that I thought was effective and beautiful. The plant life I thought was beautiful. The story is an old story, you're right. And it's a sad story. It's the story of man. What we do, how we screw up everything. If it's got something we want, we'll kill for it. We don't have any qualms about it. We want it, we'll take it. Gabrielized did a wonderful review of the film in that regard. She really called it like she saw it, and I agree. Now what happened? There were a lot of online critiques about the film, And there's been lots of discussion about the power it's had to depress people. Like when people come out of the theater, how depressed they are. And the only reason that I've ever heard given for that is the fact that now that they were in this beautiful space, seeing these beautiful people in this beautiful planet, and then they came out and saw, and reality was less attractive to them than living in this space. I don't think that's the reason at all. I think the reason people are depressed is they're reminded, once again, of what we do. What we do as man when we go into other places, how we ruin them. For my taste, there was way too much of footage of the destruction for the balance and the art of the film. I thought it was unfortunate that so much time was spent with those monolithic, mechanized monsters destroying the planet. Maybe they thought that had to be done, but that's another aspect. It didn't have to be that much. You've got the film, which is a work of art. So I'm talking about the construction, the structure of the film. There was too much of it for that. Actually, though, for what happens, it was probably very accurate. And I think that is the depressing aspect. Not that they leave the theater and they leave the beauty. I think it's that they hopefully were struck by the monstrousness that we do wherever we go. I almost forgot one of the most interesting things. Did you catch the vlogging? Those spots where he was vlogging? I'm very interested in finding evidence of vlogging in film, and this was certainly very obvious.